came from Geelong. Geelong got pick 59. Yeah, Gold Coast got him. It's such a boring E. Tyson Stengel. Now, this is an interesting one because this isn't involving Geelong. This is involving Adelaide. Adelaide got Stengel, who only played 14 games, but he really disrupted the culture of that club with some of his off-field incidents, and he just wasn't a great player for them. For Richmond, we got pick 68, or Richmond got pick 68. Sorry, I say we, I go for them. And to be completely honest, at the time, I was pretty disappointed losing Stengel. Unfortunately, throughout that period, Shea Bolton, Dan Butler, Jason Castagna, Daniel Rioli, those small forwards all were ahead of Tyson Stengel. And it's quite ironic now that Richmond don't have good small forwards because Rioli's moved to the back line, Castagna's retired, Higgins and Dan Butler, I didn't mention Higgins before, but Higgins and Dan Butler have both said, fuck this, they're going to St Kilda. Shea Bolton's through the midfield now, and Tyson Stengel is now one of the best or better small forwards in the comp for Geelong. Actually, definitely not one of the best, but a pretty decent one. It's actually, like, in terms of what Adelaide got, the trade gets an E. It just does get an E because it failed, and you know what, to be completely honest, it's bad trade for everyone. I feel like if he stayed at Richmond, his opportunity would have come, but you know what, he's doing well now at Geelong, which is a credit to him because it's his third club and he's finally found his feet. Now, this is actually a pretty big trade. A trade involving a guy who had some problems with Patton, Tom Scully. Now, Tom Scully, this is the trade where, not from Melbourne to GWS, but GWS to Hawthorn. The GWS Giants got a round 4 pick. Hawthorn got Tom Scully. Overall, pretty boring trade. I mean, Giants didn't even use that pick, I don't think. Hawthorn, he played 35 games for them. Obviously retired very early for some suspicious reasons with sisters involved, but we won't get into that. Purely because he retired early and, you know, he really disrupted the culture at Hawthorn. I'm going to be giving that trade, not much was given up for him. Let's give it a D. Taylor Duray went from Hawthorn to the Dogs. He's been great for the Dogs. Nearly 80 games played, reliable defender. Hawthorn only got, well, the Dogs only gave up round 4 pick, a future round 4 to Hawthorn. It's a big dub for the Western Bulldogs, that trade. I'm honestly going to give it an A. I feel like an A is pretty fair for that trade. Next up, the Ryan Burton trade and the Chad Wingard trade. Trade of clubs. Wingard from Port Adelaide to Hawthorn, and then we got Ryan Burton from Hawthorn to Port Adelaide. Quick recap of this trade. Hawthorn got Wingard in a round 3, and then Port Adelaide got Burton, a round 15, a round 35, and a round 4. Port Adelaide definitely win this trade. Wingard's only played 71 games. Burton's played more at 92 games, and has probably been more consistent, and he is younger, so that's a better trade in that sense. And then Hawthorn only getting a round 3, where the Port Adelaide Football Club get a pick 15, a round 4, and a pick 35. In terms of the Ryan Burton trade and everything involved with it, that trade gets an A. In terms of the Wingard trade, I'll give it a B. He's still been good for them, but I mean, Hawthorn gave up way too much for Wingard. Next up, such a dead trade. I mean, Sam Mays, what a boring trade. Sam Mays goes from Brisbane to